the message arrived without warning. It didn't hum, buzz, or flash in the usual secure frequencies, it simply appeared, cascading across every comm channel in orbit and on Earth itself. The Galactic Council spoke. Humans of Earth, surrender unconditionally within 72 standard hours, or face total annihilation. Admiral Kaela Rynn stared at the holographic display hovering above the command deck of the United Defense Fleet flagship, Dauntless. The words burned into her vision, but her mind remained cold, calculating. "Seal the comm channels," she ordered, voice steady. Her officers obeyed immediately. Outside the reinforced viewports, the pale blue curve of Earth spun silently beneath them, blissfully unaware of the ultimatum hanging in the void. Lieutenant Rico Chen, a wiry communications specialist, leaned forward, eyes wide. "Admiral, they're serious. Their fleets, entire quadrants of the Andromeda sector, they could arrive in hours if they wanted. We don't stand a chance." Kayla's gaze never left the display. "Chance is irrelevant. We act on probability, tactics, and leverage. Surrender is a human word, not a strategy." A low murmur spread through the bridge. The officers had heard her before, but never in circumstances this extreme. Around them, the metallic heartbeat of the ship hummed like a nervous pulse. Every panel, every blinking light, reflected the tension of a species facing extinction. Dr. Lena Voss, chief scientist of the Experimental Weapons Division, stepped forward. "We've been monitoring their comm relays. There's a vulnerability, a gap in their encryption protocols. If we exploit it, we could cripple their early warning systems long enough to maneuver our fleet." Kayla's eyes flickered. "How long?" "Hours, not days," Lena said. "If we hesitate, we lose the element of surprise." Admiral Rynn turned to the assembled captains. "You know the stakes. Earth is not a colony, not a project, and not a pawn. Every move we make from this moment defines our species for the galaxy. Prepare the fleet for stealth approach. Minimal signatures, maximum unpredictability. We hit them where they assume we can't." Captain Torres, the fleet's second-in-command, frowned. "Admiral, even if we manage to reach their station undetected, what then? One fleet against a council of civilizations that have stood for 10 millennia? We're talking planetary-scale annihilation." Kayla's lips curved ever so slightly. "Exactly. And that's why we won't fight them on their terms. We fight on ours." The officers fell silent. Words alone could not convey the audacity of the plan. Humanity was raw, unrefined, and recklessly bold, a flaw in the galaxy's orderly calculations. Yet that same flaw was their greatest weapon. In the council chambers of the Galactic Hub, High Delegate Vorin reclined in a chair shaped like a coiled column of crystal. He was watching the human fleet through a three-dimensional display, the confidence of centuries etched into every line of his elongated face. "They think themselves clever," Vorin said, voice smooth, metallic with authority. "Primitive, yes, but clever. It will not matter. The Council's fleets are infinite in comparison to their toys." His aide, a slender, translucent-skinned being, hesitated. "High Delegate, our sensors are registering unusual fluctuations in the human fleet's signatures." "Could be noise." "Insignificant," Vorin interrupted, tapping a clawed finger against the console. "Humans fear, humans overreach, humans die. That is the law of their kind. Let them come. It will amuse us to see how quickly they crumble." Back on Dauntless, Kayla's fingers danced over the control panel. Star maps, sensor grids, and fleet formations blinked in synchronized chaos. Every ship in the fleet mirrored her intent, engines humming quietly beneath stealth shields. Rico Chen swallowed hard. "Admiral, even with stealth, if they detect us." "Then we adapt," Kaela interrupted. Her eyes glimmered with a mixture of calm and fire. "That is the human way. Adaptation is survival. And we will survive." A tense silence settled over the bridge. Outside, the stars stretched infinitely, cold and indifferent. And yet, within this small cluster of ships, humanity was alive, defiant, and unbroken. "Initiate Fleet Maneuver Alpha," Kaela commanded. "All vessels, maintain EM blackout. Approach Vector Delta. Prepare for comm silence. We strike only when we dictate the terms." "Yes, Admiral," Torres said, suppressing the tremor in his voice. He knew the risk. They all did. Every move beyond this point could ignite the end of their species, or the beginning of a legend. Dr. Voss checked her console again. "Stealth engines at full capacity. All systems green. We can maintain invisibility until intercept range. But after that, it's up to us." Kaela nodded. "Then we make it count. Humans do not beg, and we do not yield." In orbit, Earth spun beneath them, unaware of the chessboard expanding across the void. Cities glimmered like clusters of fireflies, oceans reflected the sunlight in wide, serene sheets. The planet had no idea its fate rested on the courage of a few thousand souls in space. The first human ship slipped past the outer sensor rings of the Galactic Council. Then another. And another. The fleet moved like shadows against starlight, each vessel a testament to innovation and daring, defying the calculations of civilizations that had never known unpredictability like this. In the Council's hub, Voron's eyes narrowed. "Perhaps," he murmured, "they are more than they appear. Entertaining, in their audacity, but fleeting. We will see how long their courage lasts." Kaela Rynn stood on the deck, observing her fleet's progress. Her heart was steady, mind sharp, and voice resolute. She did not speak of fear, because fear had no place here. "Steady," she said to herself. "Every human alive owes tomorrow to the boldness we carry today. Let them test us. Let them see what it means to awaken a species they cannot comprehend." The ultimatum had been delivered. The time for talk was over. The humans moved. And the galaxy watched, silently. The human fleet moved like shadows through the void, each vessel barely a whisper against the cold backdrop of stars. Sensors were muted, engines cloaked. Kaela Rynn's eyes never left the navigation grid, tracing the predicted paths of the Council's patrols. Every flicker of energy on the screen could be a trap or an opportunity. Lieutenant Rico Chen leaned over a console. "Admiral, we're approaching their outer perimeter. Sensor readings are inconsistent, almost like they're expecting us but not quite sure where." Kaela nodded. "That's exactly what we want. Keep the fleet tight. Maintain stealth signatures until intercept range. One false move, one miscalculation, and we're nothing but debris." Torres, pacing behind the bridge, muttered, "We're threading a needle with our lives and the entire planet hanging in the balance. Makes ordinary stress look like a lullaby." Kaela allowed herself the faintest smile. "Humans thrive on impossible odds, Captain. Remember that." Outside, the fleet navigated a network of asteroid belts and gas clouds. The Council's patrols glided past, unaware, their massive hulls glinting faintly under distant starlight. Despite the danger, Kaela felt a pulse of satisfaction. Humanity's ingenuity, the ability to turn raw courage and improvisation into a tactical advantage, was already giving them the edge. Dr. Lena Voss's console beeped. "We've reached optimal strike range. If we engage now, the Council won't have time to react. But we'll need to deploy decoys and simultaneous comm jammers to prevent detection." "Do it," Kaela said. "Now." The bridge erupted in controlled activity. Holographic projections flickered to life, showing decoy drones weaving through patrol paths, mimicking the fleet's movements. Electronic countermeasures hummed, swallowing signals before they could betray the human presence. From the Council hub, High Delegate Voron's calm demeanor fractured for a fraction of a second as sensors registered anomalies. "They are here," he hissed. "Impossible. They should not be capable of this. Alert the fleet. Intercept immediately." The human fleet's first engagement was precise, surgical. Small Council patrols, expecting an easy capture, were obliterated by concentrated bursts of hyperweaponry. Not massive destruction, but targeted strikes to cripple communications and navigation arrays. Every move was calculated to maximize chaos while minimizing exposure. On the Dauntless, Kaela's voice cut through the bridge. "Report. Status?" Lieutenant Chen's hands flew over the controls. "Patrols neutralized. Fleet remains undetected. Minimal losses. They're recalibrating their sensors, adapting slower than expected." Torres exhaled. "I'll admit it. That was impressive. Even for us." Kaela didn't respond with pride. She didn't need to. Each strike, each maneuver, each calculated risk carried the weight of survival and defiance. Pride could wait until Earth was safe. Meanwhile, on the Council hub, Voron's composure faltered. "They are disrupting our systems. How? Their technology is primitive by any measure. Yet, they anticipate our every move." His aide stammered, "High Delegate, our fleets, they cannot predict." Silence. Voron's voice boomed through the chamber. "Deploy countermeasures. All fleets, sweep the perimeter. Find them. Exterminate them." Kaela anticipated the response. "They'll rush reinforcements," she said, eyes scanning the incoming vectors. "Prepare the fleet for evasive maneuvers. Use the debris and gas clouds. Let them come to us. They'll underestimate human unpredictability." The Council sent waves of interceptors, massive ships with energy shields designed to withstand orbital bombardment. Yet human tactics were unconventional. Instead of direct confrontation, small squadrons executed sudden reversals, feints, and simulated retreats, drawing the Council forces deeper into traps. Dr. Voss spoke quietly, almost to herself. "They calculate patterns, but humans aren't predictable. We adapt in real time. That's something no algorithm can anticipate." Kaela glanced at her scientist. "Exactly. That is our advantage. Not firepower, not numbers, our ability to innovate under pressure. That is what makes us human." The first real collision of fleets occurred near a massive asteroid cluster. The Council forces, confident in superior tech, pressed forward aggressively. Human ships vanished among the rocks, only to reappear behind enemy lines, cutting power relays and immobilizing vessels without firing full salvos. Explosions flared in the distance, brilliant and deadly, but the humans remained ghosts. Captain Torres watched the engagement unfold. "Every time they think they've cornered us, we're somewhere else. It's maddening for them." Kaela's focus never wavered. "Good. Let it be maddening. Let them feel the unpredictability of humanity. Every strike must buy us information, every maneuver must test their assumptions." As the battle progressed, small victories accumulated. A Council frigate drifted disabled, another lost its sensor array. Every loss was tiny on a galactic scale, but it signaled a fundamental truth: humans were not to be underestimated. Then came the turning point. A Council dreadnought appeared, massive enough to dwarf the Dauntless. Its arrival shifted the balance, an imposing shadow of steel and alien engineering. The fleet hesitated. Kaela's voice was calm, firm. "We've prepared for this. Divert decoys. Activate synchronized hypercharge. Target the dreadnought's propulsion array. Disable it without alerting the rest of the fleet." The officers executed her orders with precision. The dreadnought shuddered as coordinated strikes hit weak points humans had identified through years of study and intuition. It wasn't destroyed, but crippled. The Council's forces faltered, confused by the audacity and effectiveness of human tactics. Voron's hands shook as he watched from the hub. "Impossible, this species, they should have been extinguished before they reached us." Kaela stood on the bridge, scanning the aftermath of the engagement. Human ships remained intact, minor damage only, their stealth unbroken. "We've shown them what it means to underestimate humanity," she said softly. "But this is just the beginning." A silence fell over the fleet, not a quiet born of peace, but of calculated readiness. Every officer, every crew member, knew the battle had only escalated. The first strike had succeeded, but the war was far from over. Outside the Dauntless, stars stretched endlessly. Yet within the human fleet, a spark of defiance burned brighter than any distant sun. Against impossible odds, humanity had struck first, and the galaxy was forced to take notice. Kaela's final thought before the next phase of the battle: they assumed we were weak. They assumed we would bow. They were wrong. Every human alive is a testament to defiance. And the Council is about to learn that the impossible is only a challenge waiting to be met. The silence before the final strike was absolute, heavier than any sound could carry. The human fleet hovered at the edge of the Galactic Council's central hub, a massive ring of steel and energy that reflected the cold light of distant stars. Every ship held its position like a coiled spring, engines idling, weapons primed, sensors scanning for the first hint of movement. Admiral Kaela Rynn stood on the bridge of Dauntless, eyes fixed on the holographic representation of the Council hub. This was the moment every calculation, every gamble, had led to. The fleet's stealth remained intact, their hyperweapons charged, and their patience sharpened. Humanity was about to strike not in desperation, but in certainty. "Admiral," Dr. Lena Voss said quietly, fingers hovering over her console, "our hypercharge arrays are at maximum efficiency. If we release them in tandem, the Council station's core systems will be neutralized instantly. Their communications, navigation, even defensive shields, they won't know what hit them." Kaela's jaw tightened. "And the risk?" "Minimal if executed precisely," Lena replied. "But the energy discharge will be visible from orbit. It will announce our presence to the rest of their fleets." Kaela nodded, a faint shadow of a smile crossing her face. "Then let them come. Let them see humans on their terms." From the Council hub, High Delegate Voran's confidence faltered as sensors picked up faint anomalies near the periphery. "They are preparing something," he said, voice low and tense. "Impossible. We predicted every move. Every trajectory. And yet, they defy expectation." His aides scrambled, attempting to recalibrate shields and divert fleets, but the anomalies were already in motion. The human ships had positioned themselves with uncanny precision, exploiting gravitational pockets, asteroid debris, and artificial sensor shadows to their advantage. The hub trembled with the first pulse of human hypercharge. "Now," Kaela commanded. The fleet released their energy in perfect synchronization. Beams of focused plasma and particle discharges streaked across the void, striking the Council station's core systems. Shields flickered and failed. Communication arrays erupted in static. The station's massive rotational ring shuddered. For a brief, breathtaking moment, silence fell across the void, as if the galaxy itself paused to witness the audacity of humanity. Voran stared in disbelief. "This cannot be. They should not have the capability." Kaela's eyes narrowed, unflinching. "They underestimated us," she muttered. "That was their first mistake." Council reinforcements arrived, enormous battle cruisers descending in coordinated patterns. But the humans were already beyond the predictable range, exploiting uncharted vectors and sudden reversals. Small squadrons emerged from behind debris, cutting the Council lines with precise, targeted strikes rather than raw firepower. Every human maneuver was an experiment in defiance, testing and breaking alien assumptions. Captain Torres, leaning over the tactical grid, let out a low whistle. "Admiral, they can't predict us. Every counter they deploy, we've already anticipated, or created a trap for." Kaela didn't respond with pride, only calculation. "Then we exploit it. Keep them chasing phantoms. Every delay is a gain. Every confusion is a victory." In orbit above the hub, Council forces attempted to regroup, but the psychological shock was already fracturing command. Ships designed to operate flawlessly under the most complex conditions now hesitated. Sensors failed, shields misfired, and the unrelenting ingenuity of human strategy turned advantage into chaos. Dr. Voss pointed to a faint cluster of signals. "Admiral, the dreadnought we crippled earlier, it's drifting into the hub's energy conduit. One well-placed charge, and the station core could collapse entirely." Kaela's fingers brushed the console. "Do it. Precision, not destruction. Let them feel human ingenuity, not just power. A synchronized pulse of energy traveled through the dreadnought and into the station's conduit. Systems overloaded. A brilliant cascade of sparks and energy arcs lit the void, shaking the station to its foundation. For the first time, the Council's hub, a symbol of centuries of dominance, was vulnerable, exposed, and, above all, silent. From the hub, Voron's composed facade crumbled. "Withdraw, all forces. Stop this madness." His aides hesitated, frozen by the unprecedented spectacle. Silence answered. The Council had never faced a species capable of turning methodical strategy into an art form. They had never met humans. Kaela surveyed the aftermath. Her fleet remained intact. Losses had been minimal, damage was localized. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy, but it had announced itself in a way impossible to ignore. The Council's confidence, once absolute, was fractured. Torres exhaled slowly. "They'll never underestimate us again." "No," Kaela said, her voice firm, carrying across the bridge. "And they'll think twice before threatening Earth, or any human world, ever again." Dr. Voss, scanning residual energy signatures, added softly, "They assumed annihilation was the only response. They didn't consider ingenuity. Or courage. Or adaptability. They never considered humans." Beyond the hull of the Dauntless, the human fleet held its formation. The Council's reinforcements had withdrawn, uncertain, cautious, and silent. In the vacuum, the stars reflected off ships that carried more than weapons. They carried defiance, spirit, and a legacy no calculation could erase. Kaela allowed herself a single moment of reflection. "We did not strike recklessly. We struck deliberately, with intellect and heart. Every human alive is proof that underestimation is the galaxy's gravest mistake." Her communicator chimed. Torres' voice came through. "Admiral, orders." "Maintain position," she replied. "Survey the hub. Assess what remains. But we hold. Let them come if they dare. Humanity will not flee. Humanity will not surrender." The Council hub, crippled but intact, floated silently. No messages, no commands, only the quiet recognition that a species they had long dismissed had rewritten the rules of engagement. The galaxy would remember this day. Kaela stepped back from the console, gazing at Earth through the viewport. Blue and green, serene and unknowing, the planet spun on. Her fleet hovered between it and the shattered pride of the Council, a shield forged by intellect and courage. A voice, calm but carrying quiet awe, broke the silence on the bridge. "Admiral, we did it. Humanity has shown itself." Kaela allowed herself a faint, satisfied smile. "We didn't just survive," she said. "We proved that humans are unstoppable when we refuse to yield. Let the galaxy remember that lesson well." Outside, the void stretched endlessly, indifferent yet illuminated by human defiance. In that vast silence, Earth's children had spoken with clarity, strategy, and courage. "We are here. We endure. And we will never be ignored." The Council had demanded surrender. Humanity had responded, not with fear, not with submission, but with ingenuity, unity, and relentless determination. And in the cold reaches of space, the silence that followed was not emptiness. It was awe. The void was quiet. Not the hollow silence of emptiness, but a charged stillness, as if the galaxy itself paused to measure what had just occurred. The Galactic Council's hub hung crippled in orbit, its once imposing rings fractured and flickering with residual energy arcs. Humanity had struck first and struck decisively. Yet the real battle, the one that defined them, was only just beginning. On the bridge of Dauntless, Admiral Kaela Rynn stood with her hands clasped behind her back, observing the aftermath. The fleet maintained tight formation, engines at idle but sensors sweeping continuously. Each ship was a sentinel, each crew member alert to the faintest anomaly. They had survived the first confrontation, but the galaxy would not forgive arrogance lightly. Lieutenant Ricochin broke the silence. "Admiral, the Council has gone quiet. No communications, no fleet movement. It's unprecedented. Kaela's eyes narrowed. Not quiet. Calculating. They're stunned, yes, but not defeated. The Council will respond. Eventually. And when they do, we need to be ready. Captain Torres, pacing near the tactical console, shook his head in disbelief. Stunned isn't the word. We've rewritten the rules of engagement. I can't believe how smoothly the operation went. Minimal losses, maximum effect, it's human ingenuity, Kaela finished, her tone calm, almost reverent. It's what the galaxy has consistently underestimated. Dr. Lena Voss leaned over a console, scanning residual energy signatures from the crippled hub. They'll take time to repair. Communications might be down for cycles. But this is a turning point. We've demonstrated capability they didn't think we possessed. Kaela nodded. Capability isn't enough. The Council fears strength when it's paired with unpredictability. That's what we've shown. That's why they hesitate. Suddenly, the communications panel flickered. A transmission appeared, not from the hub, but from a Council observer ship, unarmed, non-aggressive, but unmistakably sentient. The voice was cold, measured, carrying centuries of authority. Humans of Earth, your actions are noted. The Council will deliberate. No further offensive measures will be taken during this period. Comply or face consequences. Your species has intrigued us. Kaela's eyes narrowed. They call it intrigue. Fear is closer to the truth. Torres exhaled. Admiral, what now? Do we respond? Do we advance? Or, do we wait? Kaela's gaze swept across the fleet, then back to the flickering hologram of the Council's envoy. We hold. Observation, not aggression. Let them witness our restraint as well as our capability. This is a test of their perception, and we will dictate the terms. Dr. Voss smiled faintly. It's rare that intelligence recognizes ingenuity, even if reluctantly. The fleet's sensors picked up subtle movements in the distance, Council scout vessels cautiously repositioning, maintaining distance but observing every human maneuver. The subtle cat-and-mouse dance that had begun in Chapter 2 was now elevated to a new level. Humanity was no longer merely surviving, they were defining how the galaxy perceived them. Kaela moved to the viewport. Earth glimmered below, fragile and yet fiercely alive. Cities reflected sunlight in bright patches, oceans stretched like liquid mirrors, and the atmosphere glowed softly against the blackness of space. This planet, so long underestimated, had become the fulcrum of a cosmic confrontation. Admiral, Rico said, breaking the quiet again, I've run projections. The Council will attempt to isolate us diplomatically next. They'll try intimidation, negotiation, coercion, anything that doesn't involve direct combat, because they now fear losses. Kaela's lips pressed together. Then we prepare for diplomacy, but we do not bow. Every discussion must begin with acknowledgement. Humans are not to be underestimated. We negotiate from a position of undeniable strength. Torres chuckled softly. I like it. Finally, someone in the galaxy will have to listen on our terms. Across the bridge, crew members worked quietly, maintaining readiness. Engineers monitored energy levels, weapons calibration, and stealth integrity. Pilots ran simulations of potential encounters with remaining Council fleets. Every procedure was precise, every action deliberate. The humans had mastered the first strike, now they mastered patience, discipline, and observation. Dr. Voss glanced up. Admiral, there's something else. The hub's core systems aren't just damaged. They've been fundamentally altered. If we choose, we could leverage this in future negotiations, not as a threat, but as proof of what humans are capable of. Kaela's eyes gleamed. Proof. Not punishment. Humans do not strike to destroy without purpose. We strike to define. Let the galaxy see that clearly. The silence was interrupted by a distant tremor in space, a faint but unmistakable signal. More Council forces were mobilizing, not aggressively, but cautiously. Sensors indicated hesitation, a pattern of observation rather than engagement. The humans had reshaped the rules of interaction. Every move forward would now be measured, calculated, and scrutinized by alien civilizations. Torres frowned. They won't forget this. And some will want vengeance. Kaela's expression was resolute. Let them. They underestimate human ingenuity at their peril. Every species that tried to dominate us has learned that lesson too late. We survive. We adapt. And we endure. In orbit, the crippled Council hub spun slowly, a silent monument to audacity, calculation, and courage. Humanity had not only survived the ultimatum, they had rewritten what it meant to be underestimated. The galaxy would no longer view humans as primitive, fragile, or predictable. Admiral, Rico said softly, the fleet is yours. The galaxy is watching. What do we do next? Kaela looked at the stars, infinite, indifferent, yet now subtly aware of human presence. We continue, she said, voice steady. We watch, we learn, we prepare. But above all, we remind every civilization that humanity will not surrender. Not now. Not ever. The fleet remained in formation, engines humming quietly, weapons primed yet dormant, patience as sharp as any blade. Below them, Earth turned silently, beautiful, fragile, and defiant. Above them, the stars waited. And in that stillness, in the charged silence of space, a single truth resonated: the galaxy had witnessed humanity's rise. They had seen ingenuity, courage, and adaptability clash against an empire of millennia, and they had seen the humans emerge unbroken. Kaela exhaled, a rare moment of relief passing through her. We've done more than survive. We've declared ourselves a force no one can ignore. Let them remember that. Humanity endures. Humanity commands respect. Humanity. Torres finished, quietly, reverently, is unstoppable. Outside, the void stretched endlessly, indifferent yet marked by the human presence. The Council had demanded surrender, humanity had defied expectation, and the galaxy had learned a lesson that would echo across light years: to underestimate humans was to invite consequences. And for the first time, Earth's children looked outward, not with fear, but with confidence. They had struck, survived, and survived brilliantly. The silent triumph of humanity had begun.